Two, one. What up, folks? Once again, it is indeed your boy, Tim, the handsome liberal. We got a few things to talk about today. One, I gotta admit, and we've covered a lot on the program, but I gotta admit, even for someone like myself who's been in the political sphere for a few years now, talking with hundreds of folks literally on a daily basis, this one surprises me. This one surprises me, particularly in this divisive political environment. I can't believe what I am about to cover here, but I want to run it by the folks as usual because maybe I'm seeing something that doesn't exist. Maybe I'm taking it in a direction that it should not go in. But based on what I'm seeing, it's hard to ask the question or to ignore this question. Are the Democrats trying to cheat? Because that's what it looks like. I was going to run this by you, but it looks like in the upcoming 2024 election, presidential election at the national level, there might be a legitimate claim that some Democrats might be trying to cheat. Now, maybe I'm completely wrong on this, but this is mandated in the law, and it absolutely makes no sense to yours truly. So I will run it by you folks, and we'll certainly take calls and get opinions on it, but that's the question we're going to be asking. The first topic is, are the Democrats trying to cheat in the 2024 election? Now, here is a clip from News Nation.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bill into law prohibiting all local government in the state from requiring voters to show any ID of any kind. He's literally prohibiting it because apparently, at least according to the state's attorney general, doing so flies in the face of the principles of free elections. But why? Look, you can say that you don't think they should be mandated. I happen to think voter ID makes a lot of sense. There are only 14 states, I think, in the country that do not require voter ID. But look, there's at least a legitimate argument. But outlawing asking for ID? The bill's a response to Huntington Beach, where residents in the city of around 200,000.
Now we'll talk about Huntington Beach. That is Trump country in California, and they're pushing back. But he actually outlawed. It is against the law in California. It is against the law to ask a voter to produce an ID. Jesus. Now, I'm able to play devil's advocate, obviously, and point out things that are right and wrong on both sides. But if the right suggests that Democrats are trying to cheat in this election, and you got a law like that, where it is against, why the hell would it be illegal to require an ID? How does this not prevent a voter from voting multiple times? Is there any evidence he voted at the first place? How could this be possible after what we dealt with in 2020? Many folks suggesting the election then was stolen. Now, I get that a lot of that was based on unfounded claims, but no ID? Outlawing it? Why the hell would Gavin Newsom do that? And I will ask you folks for your humble opinion. Why the hell do you think the Democrats or a Democratic governor, this is at the gubernatorial level, why would a governor outlaw requiring an ID? What would be the purpose of that? What would be the goal of that? Now, like I said, in California, they are pushing back against that, but it is coming from the governor. So that's coming from Gavin Newsom. So I don't know if they're going to be able to stop it in time. I suppose they would try to take it to the Supreme Court, but we're talking, 20, maybe a little bit more than 25 days before it's time to vote? Outlawing the requirement of an ID. So we're going to talk about that. But listen, if you think that is crazy, if you think that sounds wild, I'm not going to let you down on this show because we got something else that might be equally as wild. DJ Julio, thank you very much for the underwater display. By the way, folks, tap the screen. Certainly see if we can get the likes up. Look like TikTok is playing games with the numbers on TikTok. YouTube also, feel free to smash that like button. You know, we don't block, ban, or censor anyone. This is uncensored programming. We are MAGA friendly. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as well. So feel free to tap the screen on TikTok. Get us up to about 5,000. It'll help out the algorithm, brings in more MAGA, brings more folks to the program. Same applies on YouTube. Smash that like button. It helps out the program. And I do thank you in advance. But in addition to what Gavin Newsom is doing, as wild as that suggests, and I see in the comments, Drusilla says voting should be easier. Yeah, but it should also be free and fair. No ID, no ID to vote. You believe that's the way you should be able to vote in this country without even proving who the hell you are? I mean, maybe your ex could come vote on your behalf if they don't like you or your voting choice. No ID. Now you hear him say in the video, 14 other states, 14 states in total don't require an ID. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that so many states do not require an ID. Now, see in the comments, Brandon says you needed to register. Yeah, but if you use an ID to register, but you don't need ID to vote, how are you certain that the person who voted is the same person that registered? I don't see what the big pushback is on requiring an ID. I just don't personally see that. Anyhow, like I said, we do have more than one topic, and I want to get your opinion on this one as well, because as I said, if you think the Gavin Newsom topic is wild, most likely you will have the same opinion on this one as well.
Tonight's Fact or Fiction is brought to you by America's Finest Carpet.
And tonight we're looking into a story getting a lot of buzz in the last 24 hours. It claims Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is implying Democrats caused Hurricane Helene to harm Republicans. And folks, this one is true. Last night, Greene wrote on X, quote, "Yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it cannot be done." While she didn't say exactly who they are, the post came just hours after Greene posted this map showing the political lean of the areas impacted by the hurricane. And as you can see, there is definitely more red than blue. Greene has pushed many conspiracy theories in the past, including some which have been called anti-Semitic. If you would like to submit a question to...
So Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about Democratic or liberal hurricanes. She is suggesting that the Democrats created the hurricane to harm Republicans. This is something that wow. And by the way, there's not a big fanfare or criticism coming from the right, but she is indeed suggesting that the Democrats created Hurricane Helene. I don't know what she'll say in regards to Hurricane Milton, because that's going to likely hit a lot of red areas in Florida as well. But she is stating that the Democrats created a hurricane. Wow. So I want to find that from you folks, because Marjorie Taylor Greene, while laughed at on the left, is highly respected on the right. She's likely to remain a congresswoman because her district is very red. They're going to keep electing Marjorie Taylor Greene probably damn near until she's, an old woman. Real quick, before I continue on, let me know on TikTok, is the live stream freezing or something? Somebody said it was freezing. Let me know before I continue on, but let me know if the live stream is okay on TikTok. And yeah, I agree with that. Timmons 20 says delusional. Democratic hurricanes. Wow. I've never heard of a such thing. And obviously freezing and looping. Okay, so let me see if it's lagging. I'll try to see if I can switch over to Wi-Fi and see if that makes any difference for you folks on TikTok. So we'll give it a second on TikTok. You freezing bad and looping. I was wondering why the numbers are so low. So we'll see if things improve on TikTok. Trump changed the direction of the hurricane with a Sharpie, says Kathleen. That is true. That is true, Kathleen. Trump did indeed change the direction of a hurricane during this time. So we're gonna go ahead and go with the program. I do want to play this one more time, real quick, short clip, because folks on TikTok said I was indeed lagging, and then we'll continue on with the program. This is Marjorie Taylor Greene one more time.
Tonight's Fact or Fiction is brought to you by America's Finest Carpet.
And tonight we're looking into a story getting a lot of buzz in the last 24 hours. It claims Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is implying Democrats caused Hurricane Helene to harm Republicans. And folks, this one is true. Last night, Greene wrote on X, quote, "Yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it cannot be done." While she didn't say exactly who they are, the post came just hours after Greene posted this map showing the political lean of the areas impacted by the hurricane. And as you can see, there is definitely more red than blue. Greene has pushed many conspiracy theories in the past.
Now let me say something right off the bat. Hurricanes hit wide spans of geographical area. Whether it is, Katrina back in 2005 or any hurricane that's taken place since, a hurricane can cover a wide span of geography. There is no state that if you cover a wide span of geography, you're not going to hit a hell of a lot of red Republican areas. In fact, geography-wise, most of America by far is Republican. The Democrat areas are where the large populations are, but they're compressed in a small area. But most of the wide open area in this country leans red. So she's going to point out that the Democrat, that the area affected by the hurricane is mostly red. There's nowhere in the country you could not do that. I mean, even if a hurricane hit New York or hit California, most likely most of the counties it hit would be red, because that's where most of the counties in this country are. So I don't even know why that would mean anything to the point where she would point that out. There's not a single state in this country, at least I'm not aware of, where the overwhelming majority of the counties are red. Even in the liberal states, most of the counties in those states are red because the rural areas lean Republican. So yes, if a hurricane comes through Georgia or Florida or North or South Carolina, overwhelming majority of the areas it hit are going to be red. That doesn't say shit that the hurricane hit red areas so the Democrats controlled it. That's insane. But I want to run it by you folks, because apparently there are some people who might believe what Marjorie Taylor is saying, that the liberals can control the weather. So those are our topics we're talking about today. Gavin Newsom passing a law that bans asking for voter ID and liberal weather systems. Last but not least, this is a side topic. I don't even know if we'll discuss it much, but I just wanted to bring it up because I saw it posted on somebody else's live on TikTok. Had a big photo in the background featuring Trump and the late Martin Luther King. And he had a quote titled, "Martin Luther King, or better yet, MLK, would vote for Trump." I want to just run that by you folks and see how many of you folks agree that if we were having an election right now and the late, great MLK was still with us, who would MLK likely vote for between Kamala Harris and former President Trump? That's what I'm asking, because I saw it. That's the only reason why I'm asking. So anyway, let me get on with the program. Looking in the comments section, Billy French says, "I respect people that have opinions. Everyone has those rights. Whether you are correct or not, you are still entitled to your opinion, and we don't cancel you on the right for an opinion." I like your response, Billy, but I don't agree with the end part of it. I do agree with you that everybody has a right to have an opinion, but I totally disagree with you that on the right, you are not canceled for your opinion. I would submit to you the Dixie Chicks as a perfect example. The Dixie Chicks spoke out against the Iraq War, and the Republicans canceled the shit out of them. So I don't think, maybe you don't remember the Dixie Chicks from the early 2000s, but they got canceled by the Republican Party simply for having an opinion that was adverse. They're not big fans of Taylor Swift now either. So yeah, the idea that if you go against the right, they're not going to cancel you, and that's only something that liberals do, is factually false. Thank you for that pumpkin there, Kathleen. Do appreciate that. So go straight to the box rather. DJ Julio, always a pleasure speaking to Julio. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Hey Julio, has it been freezing at all since I changed over? Has it been okay?
No, it's been pretty good since. Yeah.
Okay. So no voter ID, says Gavin Newsom in California. What say you?
Impeach him.
I don't know if you can do that.
Well, then get rid of him.
Well, you can vote. Yeah, you can certainly vote him out.
Not in a mortal way, but yeah, put his ass out of there.
Yeah, you can certainly get rid of him in the next election, but that'll be too late.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely ridiculous. He should be held whatever crimes he can be charged with. He should be held.
Yeah, but here's the thing that I did not realize. I didn't know 14 other states allow you to vote without an ID.
Man, that'd be interesting to know if they're going.
I think you already know. I think you already know it's probably going to be mostly liberal states. I'm going to see if I can find that out. I should have had that up while the show was going, but I heard him say 14 states do not require an ID. That's insane, in my opinion.
Yeah, there is nothing about election integrity that comes from that. That means anybody can vote as many times as they want to, wherever they're from. They could fly in from Zimbabwe and just get here and decide they want to vote because they like the social economic help that the Democrats are providing.
Yeah. What I think it is, Julio. I think a lot of America was founded on the honor system, and people never, just like with Trump. I think Trump is violating a lot of stuff that nobody ever thought he would do. But in regards to voter ID, because it is a felony to do this, I think folks just assume, who the hell would want to go out and risk getting a felony just to cast a ballot, which I do believe makes some sense, even though I believe not requiring an ID opens up the door to fraud. Would you really be willing to commit a felony just to cast a few more votes?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I mean, I believe that they would do that. Yeah, well, it's not just a few more votes, Tim. You got to remember how many immigrants have been unvetted and let across the borders and shipped to Chicago and New York and other big cities.
No. I get your I'm not disagreeing with you. I get your point, but what I'm saying is, you've made it to America. You've walked, whether you walked from Guatemala or Venezuela or whatever path you took to get here. You've wanted to come to America. You've made the trek to get here, and hopefully you're on the way to being financially better off or sending money home to your family. And you'd be willing to risk all of that to vote? I mean, literally. Go ahead.
I think that if that's the case, those voters are probably coming over here illegally. If they're willing to come here illegally, they're not really worried about our legal system when it comes to voting, I don't believe.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Is you've come over here illegally and you're trying to, establish yourself here and stay under the radar. If you're going to come out and commit a crime, robbing a bank or doing something that's financially advantageous, casting a vote, you're going to risk getting deported for that?
Listen, if he's casting a vote for
Ray's back,
that's going to make
Ray's back.
Hang on a second. I got a program, something else running in the background. Let me make sure I turn off this other thing. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I had it. Okay, say that again. What you were saying?
If you're voting in the official that's going to be more on your side, more lenient toward your illegal immigration, I think it's worth the risk.
I don't see it, and like I said, I totally.
I don't either, Tim. I personally wouldn't go to, let's say, I wouldn't go to Australia, and try to become a resident there and get into their votes and vote without, voting legally. I wouldn't do that, but I can't speak for the people that are coming across.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm the same as you are. If I was going to go into a country illegally that was significantly better than the country I lived in, and knowing that I'm there illegally, I need to stay under the radar. Voting is not the way I'm going to come out of hiding. Even if I was going to a country illegally and was going to commit some crimes, MS-13 or cartel style, voting is not one of them. I mean, as an illegal immigrant, casting a ballot in a country that has 350 million people, hell, even if you voted 10 times, the gain versus loss in that is like, it's like out of this universe. If you successfully cast 10 illegal votes, okay, you get 10 votes here. What do you really gain out of that? Well, that's 10 votes in favor of my guy. If you get caught, you get deported if you don't end up going to jail first. To me, the risk versus reward is not even, I can't even imagine an illegal immigrant taking that risk.
You know, and I wouldn't see it. I couldn't see it either. It doesn't make sense to me. It's not that I can't see it. That wouldn't make sense to me that they would do that. But if you look and you find out that those are Democrat states that allow no voter ID and make it illegal to ask for voter ID, that would lead me to believe that rushing in those 10, 15 million people, that's 10, 15 million votes.
Here are the states that do not require you to show an ID. Obviously, California, Hawaii, Illinois, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Minnesota, Nevada. Wow, Nevada, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Vermont, and also the District of Columbia. That sounds like a pretty liberal group, with the exception of maybe Nevada. It goes back and forth, but in Maine also, Maine is not always liberal either.
Right. No. So there it stands to say that if that is the reasoning, and they're shipping 10 to 15 million illegal immigrants in, and you don't need to have a freaking ID to vote, that's 10, 15 million votes for the liberal side.
Yeah, but as I just was stating with you, I don't believe, and I see in the comments somebody, who is that? The Blue Baron is like Pennsylvania, because that's the hot spot right now. But yeah, in Pennsylvania, you don't need an ID, and that's the state everybody wants to win. But I don't know. Like I said, if I made it, you know, I'm sitting on the, and we both had these dreams of one day making it to America, and I actually take the walk, and I actually make it. 3 weeks later, I'm on the porch right back next to him in Guatemala, and he's like, "What happened?" And I'm telling him I got caught trying to vote. He'd probably beat my ass. Like, you really made it there, and that's what you did to get deported? You tried to vote? I don't see it, Julio. I get the fact that it does make elections less secure, but I don't see where there will be a large amount of people willing to risk a felony, even immigrants, to cast a ballot. There's just not enough gain in it for that.
Well, you know, and I would maybe side with you if I didn't know that, you know, they have an app to help illegals get around. It's, you know, very clear that the liberals, not all liberals, but the liberals in government right now are all for this open border shit, and it's scary.
I don't, you know something though, I don't honestly agree. I don't honestly know if all liberals, as you say, in government are for open borders. There are plenty of liberals that are running on securing the border. Now, you might be to put that on Kamala Harris and Biden, but there are a lot of Congress and senators that are not a fan of what's going on at the border. So I won't put that on all liberals.
Right. Well, let's just say that a good portion of.
I don't even know if I'd agree with that. I think the difference is the way the right views border security versus the left is polar opposites. If the way the right views it, I could see why any liberal would be considered as for open borders, because you guys kind of want the border where virtually nobody can come in, legal or otherwise. I mean, I think Trump once said, "We're full. We already have enough here." So Trump really as he's promising, he's going to shut the border down completely. So he's talking about going close to zero. So yeah, I can see where you would think the Democrats are for open borders, because you kind of want nobody in.
Well, it's not that, you know, in my stance, it's not that it's not that I don't want immigrants, and I know that Trump is talking about closing down the border, and I think a lot of that has to do with getting the illegals rounded up if we can, and getting them pushed back and vetted the right way. And that's where I stand on immigration. We need immigration. You know, if we cut up the history, if we stop history a year ago and just say nothing beyond a year ago matters, we're going to move forward. We're going to start new.
Wait. You said nothing. Nothing beyond a year ago. So what if I've been illegal in this country for the last 3 years? I get to stay?
No. I'm talking hypothetically. political about how I feel. So
Okay.
like go back a year ago, nothing matters. What happened to the Native Americans don't matter. What happened to the African folks don't matter. What happened to the Mexican folks don't matter. We're starting fresh today. It's all new. I want immigration. I want people to come into the country. It creates diversity. I believe in that diversity that creates. What I don't want is people coming over here personally. I know my name is not literally Julio.
I saw that.
I DJ by the name. I just happened to look at the screen. I was looking out the window. No, my name is Ryan.
I saw that. He's like, how could you have these opinions? You're literally named Julio.
Yeah. No, my real name is Ryan. I go by DJ Julio because I'm a DJ and a plumber. That's what I did.
So what are you, Elizabeth Warren? Wait. Are you Elizabeth Warren? Are you pretending to be something you're not?
I'll never pretend something I'm not. I spell Julio with an H because I'm part white.
Isn't that how the Hispanics spell Julio, with an H? Oh, you said with an H, not a J. But then why does your name have it spelled with a J?
No, it says DJ and Hulio.
Hulio is the Hispanic spelling of Julio.
No, it's Julio. It's Hispanic. It means July.
Yeah, but is that not okay? Wait, maybe I'm looking at it wrong. All right, fair enough. I've never seen anybody spell Julio with an H. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. No, and I like that because I'm easy to find that way.
All right. Okay, just want to make sure you wasn't doing an Elizabeth Warren thing, because Julio is a Hispanic name. I haven't come across anybody that was not Hispanic named Julio.
Yeah, no, and I wanted to keep part of my roots in it when for my DJ name, and I've been called Julio since I was 16 years old, and I've always spelt it with an H because I thought it was kind of a.
Why the hell did they call you Julio?
It's a long story.
Damn right it is. I think I know what it is. All right.
It was a 15-year-old drunk story at a lake. I was hollering down a furnace going, ooh, it was echoing. It's a stupid freaking thing, but.
Okay, I thought you might have been in a river and they thought you were trying to be a wetback or something. I don't know. Anyhow, I never know with you, Julio. I never know. That's when you said I'm in a river. I'm like, yeah, his ass is sneaking into South Dakota. That's why they're calling them that. Okay, all right. So
what was your other topic?
I'll give you a clip of it because I was, as you guys said, was freezing up. I can't believe that this is actually a topic, but I'm going to play it for you because I want you to hear it. This is only 40, 50 seconds long, but I can't believe that I actually have to play this.
Tonight's Fact or Fiction is brought to you by America's Finest Carpet.
And tonight we're looking into a story getting a lot of buzz in the last 24 hours. It claims Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is implying Democrats caused Hurricane Helene to harm Republicans. And this is true. Last night, Greene wrote on X, quote, "Yes, they can control the weather. It's ridiculous for anyone to lie and say it cannot be done." While she didn't say exactly who they are, the post came just hours after Greene posted this map showing the political lean of the areas impacted by the hurricane. And as you can see, there's definitely more red than blue.
She's saying Democrats created a hurricane to harm the Republicans. What say you?
Debo. Julio agrees. Fucking Debo. He just likes it because I say his name.
Well, I don't know. You do say some controversial shit, but now you got to defend. Go ahead.
Do you have an Alexa?
Yeah, not near me right now, but I do have one, yes.
Okay, so then do this later. Go to your Alexa, hit the button, say, Alexa, did the government use dry ice to strengthen Hurricane Helene? I've seen it on like 17 different videos. I've showed my wife about 4 times, my kids, and my daughter's the one that showed me this video to start it out.
How much, wait. Do you realize how big a fucking hurricane, how much dry ice would you need to affect the power of a hurricane?
Apparently at 100 and like either 46 or 64 pounds of shaved. That's what it said. I don't know, but things I do know. Cloud seeding is a real thing. Cloud seeding has been a real thing for as long as I've been alive.
Julio, we're talking about a hurricane, something bigger than an actual state. We're not talking about something small, cloud. We're talking about something that is bigger than something that could be bigger than a country. You're not going to affect that with dry ice.
Well, I'm not really sure about the whole dry ice thing. Like I said, I have heard that they've used sodium dioxide or some shit to cloud seed the hurricane. I've listened to a couple of different things. Most of them are about, they talk about cloud seeding. Cloud seeding, I believe it's sodium chloride. I could be wrong. I don't remember exactly what chemicals they use, but it changes entire fucking jet streams.
So let me just make sure. Let me see if I can get clarity from you. Do you believe Marjorie Taylor Greene was onto something by suggesting the Democrats created a hurricane to affect Republicans?
I agree that the government, that she's right in the government, the current government, did some cloud seeding, yes. What their purpose is, I don't know. Does it look fishy? Yes, when you look at the size of where it's going and the political layout of where it's going to affect a lot of Republicans.
And what is the evidence that they were cloud seeding right before Hurricane Helene?
The big ass plane that was flying above it. I can't.
There is a big Julio. There is a big ass plane flying right above every hurricane. That's kind of how they do the geological studies. That happens with every hurricane.
Well, and it could be, and I could be completely lost on this. I'm just telling you what I've read, not what I've read, what I've listened to. I don't like to read much. Your people know I don't like to read much.
My people?
The people in your chat, Tim, don't go there with
me.
Well,
I think you're turning from DJ Julio to DJ Leroy right in my face. My people? Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Don't do that to me. You know better than that. I'm talking about the guys in the chat, the people in the chat.
Okay. All right. So
I would never say that to you. Come on, you know me better than that.
I'm fucking with you. I'm fucking with you, Julio. You know we good. We good, all right? I gotta move it on though, man.
Yeah. Yes. Democrats are cloud seeding, and everybody needs an ID to vote. That's my opinion.
Last question before I move it on. I saw a post on somebody else's live stream with a picture of Trump sitting next to Martin Luther King, and it stated MLK would vote for Trump. What say you?
MLK was about a better America, about a non-divisive, an inclusive America, and I believe that Trump stands for that, yes.
So you believe he would pick Trump over Kamala Harris?
I would put my life on it.
That would be nice. It would. I would hate to see you go, man. I got to move it on, though. Appreciate you. I got to go. All right, Julio. No way in hell do I believe that, but he's entitled to his opinion. See the comments. Gerald said he would lose his life. By the way, tap the screen, folks. Certainly get the likes up on the program. I think now that we've gotten it kind of clear, maybe the numbers will come back, but we did have some freezing when I was using it on the 5G, so apparently something was wrong there. So I do ask you folks on TikTok, tap the screen, get us up to about 20,000. It helps out the algorithm. Same on YouTube, smash that like button. No way he would vote for Trump, says Mickey Edwards. I gotta tend to agree. I could probably give you a laundry list of reasons why, but we'll continue in the program and we'll see. I did not realize people really believed that Democrats had superpowers. Yeah, that's well stated. You weirdos do know that the hurricane started away from the United States, and that is true as well. It started over near Mexico, Cancun, and all that. And I've said that before. If folks believe the U.S. or entities in America are creating hurricanes, folks need to realize that most hurricanes, before they hit the U.S. shores, generally causes havoc in another country. Hell of a lot of hurricanes have struck the Bahamas, Cuba, whatever you want to call it, the Virgin Islands, Dominican Republic or Haiti. All of those countries often get struck by hurricanes on their way here. So if we're creating hurricanes, it would essentially be an act of war because you're tearing other countries apart to get at the Republicans. Wow. But I'm surprised. I'll go back to the box. Hopefully we'll get a different opinion. Democrats creating hurricanes. That is a new one. Going back to the box, Ruben Terrell. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. What say you? Liberal weather systems, Ruben. What do you think?
Of course not. What? Okay, so here's the thing. These hurricanes have become way too politicized, and people are ignoring the fact that people are actually getting hurt.
Yeah.
And this is affecting so many people's lives, and they just want to make it political. And I don't know. I don't understand it. Why are we not focusing more on, going out there and helping people rather than saying, "Oh, it's your fault. It was a liberal hurricane. That hurricane was going to vote for Kamala." What? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, what about the notion that they could help people if the liberals hadn't allocated a bunch of the money to illegal immigrants? They took a bunch of FEMA's money, according to folks on the right, Homeland Security, and diverted this money to assisting migrants when the American people now found themselves in detriment and it's no longer available to them. Have you heard that? Do you believe that that theory is accurate?
I've heard about that, and I think maybe a little bit more money than certain people, maybe most or some people would like, has gone over to helping the illegal immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard also that the $750 thing was false. That was just the initial amount that they would give you, but you could apply to have even more given to you later. But I don't know all my facts on that. But that's just what I've heard.
Yeah, that $750 is the initial payment. That's meant for essentials. So like if you lost everything, that'll cover you getting food for a little bit of time, baby formula, maybe prescriptions, things that you need right away, right now. But you can apply for a hell of a lot more aid in addition to that. So the $750 is not by any means all you can request.
Yeah. I think that maybe when this is over, whoever's in presidency will, sign something or do whatever, and then they'll donate a bunch of money to, those communities to help them rebuild. But I guess we'll just have to see how it goes. Really, I would be surprised if whoever was in presidency, when they start saying like, okay, we can start building back now. I would be surprised if they didn't say, we're going to send over some money and, help and do whatever we can, because it's just been catastrophic, the number of communities and people's lives that have been affected by this.
Yeah. Now, you started out by saying the hurricane has been politicized. Do you see either party maybe being an orchestrator of that, or do you see it coming from both sides, or why do you believe it's been politicized?
I honestly couldn't tell you where the origin of it is. I heard a small rumor on social media, and at first I was kind of thinking like, oh, that was just a stupid thing for someone to say who's just like some crazy conspiracy theorist, and then just started blowing up. And then all of a sudden it was like, it's not so much that I'm hearing people directly say things, it's just that I'm hearing people say they heard someone else say this, So I haven't personally seen anyone on social media or whatever it was actually saying I know you just barely showed that clip, and so then I was like, maybe it was a Republican thing that, got brought up. And so I don't know. It doesn't really matter, honestly. I just say, just put it into it, stop politicizing it.
Well, yeah, and I don't now with them suggesting that the money went to migrants, that's going to be difficult to do in that case. But how do you feel with Trump going down there and having a GoFundMe? Now, this is right after Helene. Trump went to the region, put out a GoFundMe, and apparently was able to raise, I believe, over $1 million for victims of Helene.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good action. I feel like if he uses that money to help them out, which I'm assuming that he will, I think that's just a good thing for him to do.
In times of disaster, might he be a better commander in chief than Kamala Harris, let's say, or Biden?
Well, I don't know. When he was in presidency, we didn't really have any.
Well, we had the hurricane. We had the hurricane where he was allegedly throwing paper towels in Puerto Rico. We did have that.
Oh, I don't know. I was way too young then.
Okay.
When his first presidency was in, I was like in junior high. So.
Okay. All right. So you're fairly. So considering that you're a very young voter, Where is your vote likely to go in this election?
Well, I was undecided initially, and then after the first debate, I was thinking, maybe I'll vote for Trump, and then.
Well, when you say the first debate, the one between him and Biden.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then when Biden stepped down, and like, I don't know, there was just a lot. It just felt fishy that like there wasn't another primary, and they all of a sudden Kamala was just like the new
appointee. Yeah, they put her in there. Yeah.
So then I was like, yeah, I don't really like that, and her. I honestly, this might be controversial, but I think that her personality is a lot worse than Trump's. Even though she doesn't say some of the things that he does, but she talks condescendingly a lot. And
give me some. You have to give me some examples, because Trump has a really, really boisterous personality. So to suggest that Kamala's is even worse, you got to give me some examples of that.
Well, she did. When she was a prosecutor in California, she did.
That's 40 years ago, though. You're going back 40 years to find something? Give me something recent.
Oh, recent? Okay.
That's before you. That is literally before you were born, Ruben. Give me something recent.
I thought we were gonna talk about their entire.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, Trump used to identify as a Democrat, so we obviously know that ain't true. So if we pull Trump up from 40 years ago, he's not even running for the right party. I mean, I get your point, but the idea that you're seeing Kamala Harris as the same person she was back in the 80s. That's why I said give me some examples, but I didn't know you were going to go back that far.
Oh, okay. Recently, I thought that when she said that people between the ages of 18 and I think she said 24 were like really stupid, I thought that was pretty condescending.
Okay, I could see now. That makes more sense. Well, I hate to pull a Trump or sound like MAGA, but I'd have to hear the context in which she said it. But why did she say that?
I honestly, I just saw the clip and I was like, that sounds really condescending. And then, I mean, I didn't think it was as bad as everybody was trying to make it to be. Because she did say afterwards, like, this is why we put them in dormitories and give them resident advisors and stuff. And then she was talking about like universities and stuff. But I was just like even a small thing like that can kind of show like what you're really thinking. And I just kind of thought that was like, I don't know. It just kind of, for me personally, it kind of exposed how I think that she thinks we are. I think that she thinks that much more than just 18 to 24-year-old or whatever are stupid,
I mean, I get it. I mean, that certainly is a legitimate point to make. I mean, it just caught me off guard that that right there was enough to make you say she's worse than Trump. Because I mean, we know Trump has said a hell of a lot.
No, that was just one. That was just one example. You just asked for one example.
Okay. You must have a lot though, because Trump has said. I mean, he called her stupid and dumb. I mean, obviously, there's all sorts of nicknames he has for. You talk about condescending, crazy Bernie, nervous Nancy. I mean, you're saying Trump is less condescending than Kamala.
He has the nicknames that he comes up with on the spot. I don't know how he does that, but I don't know. I see when politicians attack each other, I see it as more playing the game. And I'm not trying to be like contradicting here because I know that politicians attack each other all the time. And Trump was the first one to make it like a big thing where he really started, talking bad about people and stuff. And I don't know. I don't know. I guess I should look up more stuff about it. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, I think you made a decent point about if she, and I haven't heard it, but if she did say what you're saying about 18 to 20-year-olds or young folks, that's a legitimate point. But as I said before, there is just so much ammunition on Trump that you should be able to give me things that Kamala Harris said that's condescending until tomorrow. You should be able to, because there's that much stuff on Trump. And if she is worse than Trump, then you should have a huge library of stuff that she has said. Because, like I said, Trump is always being condescending to someone.
Right. Well, like we said earlier, Trump, when he was first voted in office, I was in like junior high. So I'm really young. So I don't know everything about everything that he said or what anyone said. I'm just looking at, recently what's happening.
So let me go back to the question I originally asked you that took us here. Who are you likely to vote for as a young voter in this upcoming election in some 25, 26 days?
I'm leaning towards Trump right now.
What policies or promises or direction of Trump leads you to pick him over, say, Kamala Harris?
Just some of the stuff that was in Agenda 47, and it's not the way I see it is that both parties agree on like 90% of stuff, but it's just that small stuff in the 10% that is a really big deal. You're
the first Trump supporter I've ever heard that cites Agenda 47 as a reason. Most Trump supporters are trying to run away from this. So what's in Agenda 47 that you favor?
Man.
I mean, you picked that's controversial as hell. Huh?
I heard about Agenda 47 a while ago, and I heard what was in it, and at the time I was thinking, like, okay, that's good. I like that, and I like that, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So if you give me a second, I'll look at it.
Yeah, I'm really curious, like that monkey, in regards to what you like. And I see in the comments somebody said Agenda 47, not Project 2025. Folks, understand Agenda 47 is a light version of Project 2025. There are a lot of similarities between Agenda 47 and Project 2025. Understand that. And while Trump is denying Project 2025, he is acknowledging Agenda 47. So give me some things you favor out of it.
Hold on, I'm trying to look up. Oh my gosh. So I'm trying to look up some Agenda 47 like that.
PFL in the comments says you are pure MAGA. You're just being deceptive about your name. Pure MAGA. That's a hell of a name.
I try to listen to both sides. And like I said, I think that they agree on 90% of things.
Right.
Hold on. I just remember when I did hear about it, I was like, I like this and this, and it was like the certain points about it that I liked, but then I don't know. I just can't remember at the time.
Okay. I'd be curious, and while you're doing it, folks on YouTube that are watching, let me know if the program is running smoothly or if there's any freezing or anything like that. Let me know on YouTube, and for you folks, feel free to smash that like button. Get us to about 50 there on YouTube. Try to listen to both sides, but only actually hears one. He's going of propaganda points. Well, I like to hear though. I like to hear from.
If somebody has I'll look at Kamala's stuff. I don't just pay attention to one side. It's just that I haven't really seen much of what Kamala wants to do. Oh, the tariffs is one thing, and then here we got wants to keep Medicare and Social Security intact by cutting federal expenses. I think that's a good idea. Okay. Let's see. Total ban on Biden using taxpayer dollars to free illegal aliens.
I don't know. I don't know if that's really happening. That could just be a claim of his. Taxpayer dollars to free illegal aliens. Free them from what? Are they incarcerated?
I don't know. Like I said, I'm just reading some of these, and I'm just assuming that if that's true, if Biden is using taxpayer dollars to free illegal aliens, then I'm questioning why is he doing that. But and if Trump wants to stop it, then cool.
Yeah, the issue is this. I'm sure you've heard that liberals are allegedly for open borders. So if they're for open borders, there shouldn't be any illegal aliens to free. I mean, if they're letting them in and letting them become, then who needs to be freed? I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Either they're for open borders or they're incarcerating illegal immigrants. It can't be a combination of both. But I got to move it on then real quick before I was going to ask you a second question, but you're such a young voter. I don't know if I can really run it by you, but I will also ask you, do you believe there's a possibility that Democrats are creating hurricanes to be harmful towards Republicans?
That sounds like a really, really funny conspiracy theory, but if it's true, then that's a whole different conversation that we're going to have about the government and other conspiracy theories. But no, I don't think that's true.
I like the last half of that sentence. I got to move it on, Ruben. Thank you for coming through.
All right.
Anytime, yeah. And I see in the comments, you said the same thing, Debo and Michael said, if it's true. Yeah, at the end he said, he doesn't think it, and that's the way I would look at it as well. But he did start out with if it's true. You're running smooth, and I like the way you changed your attitude from moving migrants, because every black person would get moved, not just black Haitians. Okay, let me try that again. Like where you change your attitude from moving migrants, because every black person would get. I don't quite get that. Bless. I don't understand quite what you're saying there. Tariffs lead to foreign manufacturers passing their additional expenses on to the consumer. Duh, says Props. I think most analysts, I was going to say economic analysts, agree with that. I think most of the folks that are in the financial world are saying that Trump's tariffs would be a disaster. But there are people who agree with him, like my last guest. Looking in the comments real quick, tap the screen. Get the likes on up to 20,000. We may shorten this program. I don't know if there's something wrong with the algorithm, but the numbers are so damn low, we may have to move it on. Tim, that's the third time you call yourself a Republican. I did? What? Timothy Lee 850. Give me anything. What the hell did I say to suggest that I was a Republican or Democrat? What did I actually come on and say? I didn't hear that one. Maybe I said something, but let me know. Continuing on with the program, we'll go to Jason. Good evening. Welcome to the program. So we're talking about also. Oh, I said we Republicans.
He's Republican.
Yeah, him and Trump haven't fallen out. Trump talked shit about his fucking, when he took over the Apprentice.
Mm-hmm.
And he just talked shit, and then.
Schwarzenegger took over the Apprentice? Oh, I didn't watch it back then.
And then he took a low quality show, yada, yada, just talk shit,
What did I walk in on?
I can't picture Schwarzenegger saying you're fired.
Yeah, he did. He had a few seasons, but it's not his role.
No. Like, I watched the first few seasons when Trump had it.
Yeah,
but I watched it for the celebrities, not for Trump.
Yeah, but when he refused to let that black person win by himself, that was bullshit,
Now I walked in on somebody else's conversation.
Oh, he should be, but...
That's against the law. That's discrimination.
Teflon Don.
Does your son sit in the seat?
No, Hollywood did.
Okay, folks, are you there?
No, Hollywood.
Okay, I'm going to have to leave it, obviously. That was interesting.
Okay,
now they were having a conversation about... They were having a conversation about Trump. I wanted to, because she didn't sound like she favored Trump, but they were having a conversation, but they weren't paying attention to the damn screen, so I couldn't take them away from it, so I had to move on. That has some liberal as, wait a minute, this is Anthony Aldridge, who says, that has some liberal as he gets paid from the DMC, the same as Harry and Dean. I don't quite get what you're saying there. He better not ever come back up and say they favor Trump, says Michael. Going on with the program, we will continue on with I don't know what I just said, Speakeasy for Kids. Good evening, welcome to the program, Speakeasy.
How are you?
I'm doing good. Good to have you on. So, liberal hurricanes, what say you?
Well, I wanted to liberal hurricanes. That's really funny. I used to do the weather. We know that hurricanes actually start in the ocean. It takes out a few islands. It can be destructive, and before it even comes to America. And in order for a Democrat or the liberals to try to make hurricanes to affect red states, they would have to take out a whole lot of other states and other people in order for it to happen. It just does not make sense. And when did people get stupid about weather? But my thing is, my reason for the request is to talk about FEMA, because people are still talking about FEMA, the $750 that people get for expenses.
Right.
And then they have to go in and apply for other monies after they have submitted their insurance claims. So there's a process, but all the misinformation is...
I don't know what just happened.
Okay. That's what I wanted to chime in.
Okay. So, yeah, the $750 is an initial payment for essentials. And yes, of course, there is certainly more you can request. But I suppose you'd have to kind of fault the Democrats because they let the Republicans, particularly Trump, create this narrative that says that's all they can get. Did I lose you there, Speakeasy?
Right. That misinformation, and it's so unfair to the people. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Maybe. Okay, either you got a bad signal or I do. All right, I'm gonna have to move it up because your signal is illegible. Let me know, folks, if I don't know if she went out, but let me know if the show continues on well with me. Otherwise, maybe it's my signal. I don't know. But Speakeasy, your signal was breaking up fairly bad, so I had to drop you. You're welcome back on the program, though. The New York Post says you have to pay $400 for free internet, Starlink. Okay. Smooth, no problem. Thank you, Gerald. That might be the storm causing interference. Well, I don't know if my last guess was in the path of the hurricane. I don't think I heard that. Let's continue on with Gerald MC. Tim ear hustling. I don't know what that means. Real quick in the comments. There you go. Gerald, good evening.
What's going on?
Good to have you on, man. So we're talking about a couple of things. First, one of the things I thought was fairly serious is that California Governor, Democrat Gavin Newsom, passed a law making it illegal to ask folks casting a vote for an ID. Why would he do that?
I thought that he said the law was that you can't add any others that weren't already required by the state.
Well, let me give you we'll play a quick clip of it and we'll talk about it on the other side because it sounds like it's a little bit more descriptive than that. Here, so give me a moment to cue this up.
California Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bill into law prohibiting all local government in the state from requiring voters to show any ID of any kind. He's literally prohibiting it because apparently, at least according to the state's attorney general, doing so flies in the face of the principles of free elections. But why? Look, you can say that you don't think they should be mandated. I happen to think voter ID makes a lot of sense. There are only 14 states, I think, in the country that do not require voter ID. But look, there's at least a legitimate argument. But outlawing, asking for ID?
Why would he outlaw it?
That doesn't make, that's the whole matter. That makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
But doesn't California, and I'm not from California, I just kind of remember reading something about California sends everybody a paper ballot, and you bring that. So you're only going to get one vote with that ballot.
Right.
Are you the person showing up with the ballot? I don't know. But I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. But if that's what it says, and if it stands on exactly those words, that's completely nuts.
Now you could see where folks on the right might say it looked like he's trying to promote cheating.
Yeah, I can see that, but I just can't. I just don't believe that they're that stupid. I really don't.
Well, there is obviously some right-wing voters in the state that are pushing back against this, but with only like 20 some odd days to go, I don't know if they're going to be able to make any inroads. But why? Yeah, I don't have any idea why he would not. First of all, I don't have any idea why he would make it illegal. But what surprised me from this publication here is that 14 other states allow you to vote without an ID.
Yeah, but they have some other control.
What do you mean?
Like I think somebody said in the comments, they send it to every registered voter. So if you're not a registered voter, you don't get a ballot, you don't get to vote.
Yeah, but what if you are able to get your hands, maybe go into somebody's mailbox or something like that and get your hands on their ballot, knowing that when you show up to vote, you don't have to have an ID. You could have a legitimate voter show up to vote and be told somebody already cast your vote for you. We show your ballot's already been cast because they didn't require an ID at the time to do it.
I can see that. If you're required to bring your ballot, then you know you don't have your ballot, so you know it's possibly gone.
Yeah, and I see in the comments, Anthony Aldrich is stating, "Are you breaking into someone's house, shoot them dead to get one vote?" No, a lot of Americans don't get their mail inside their home. You ever seen the mailboxes at the curb? I mean, apartment complexes may have it down in the lobby. there's plenty of access to people's mail that has nothing to do with going in their house.
I agree with that. Now, here's the thing: how many people would have to really have their ballots stolen
That I agree
and
with.
voted illegally to flip the electoral college?
A lot. Well, I will say this: at the present. Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, Trump would have won Georgia. What was it? 5,011,000 votes.
Well, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
but I will say this: as opposed to the national election with Trump versus Kamala, we could have this discussion you're talking about. But there's a lot of lower down ballot races that are decided by far less votes. Far less votes.
Yeah. Yes.
So,
I agree. Totally agree. Your local ones are the ones that count the most as far as direct effect on you as a voter. I mean, people talk about gas prices, but do they look at what makes up a gas price? Most of it is your local tax. I mean, I think it's like 50%
a lot of it
is what you pay for it, and the other 50% is your local taxes and the profit for the owner of the business.
Yeah, I remember. I remember seeing on the news in Chicago that like 51 or 52% of their gas prices was taxes. When you factor in it's federal, state, and county and local. I mean, there's a lot of taxes on every gallon of gas you put in your car. So it's a lot. I mean, if you didn't have to pay taxes on fuel, it would be pretty cheap to fill your car up.
It'd be real cheap.
Yeah, it would be probably $1 a gallon or something.
It would be real cheap, and that's why the local elections do count more. I think. I mean, they're gonna affect you tomorrow.
Right. Right.
What happens to the federal government? It might never touch you.
Well, and I'll give you a perfect example. Springfield, Ohio. They're eating cats and dogs. Remember that one? Now, that's a local election where you obviously have a mayor that is favorable to Haitian migrants. And if there's another guy, there is an African American running for mayor in that city right now, and he is claiming that they're eating cats and dogs, and he wants them out. So if you want, now that's an election where you would certainly want to vote because one mayor is talking about potentially sending you back to Haiti, which is in a war zone. The other one's going to let you stay and work. So that would be that's an election that even at the one vote per person level might be worth cheating in.
Yeah, well, yeah. You could make a difference with a cheat.
Yeah. In that city where they talking about, I mean, there's only like what they say 50,000 folks and 20,000 migrants, so very small number of citizens, somewhat. So yeah, in that city, affecting the down ballot races could mean a lot to the migrants.
Yes, definitely could mean a lot. I mean, they could enact some type of law that says you migrants have to stay on this side of the street forever. I mean, and then they just kind of figure out, how do you know who's a Haitian and who's not? They look like me because I'm a black man. Am I a Haitian?
Well, you could give them a yellow star, a la 1930s Germany.
Yep, and just pick them.
Right. I mean,
you're a black dude, so you might be Haitian, and your eyebrow is right. Yeah, you're Haitian.
Yeah. I can't tell you how many videos I've been shown that suggest this is proof they eat cats and dogs, and it's just black people. Anybody black that's eating it looks wild, they're going to say this is a Haitian migrant. I mean, it's crazy. But let me ask you this now. Now, you are African American, correct?
Yes, sir.
Saw this on another live streamer's page, and I just figured I'd run it by some of the folks, and you'd be a perfect example to run it by. The suggestion that if Martin Luther King was alive, he'd vote for Trump over Kamala Harris.
Tim, I live in Memphis, right? So look, I do believe Martin Luther King would have invited him to the Lorraine Hotel to stand outside the door.
Oh my God. Yeah, I had a guest on earlier that agreed that he believed that Martin Luther King would be more likely to vote for Trump.
No, he wouldn't. After look at what's going on. When he say stuff like, we're gonna have immunity for the policeman.
Right.
Martin Luther King would have been one of the first ones to get hit upside the head because he's out there protesting.
Yeah. I was just amazed.
He was called a terrorist, just like he was. He was called a terrorist. He was called a communist. He was called all of these names.
Yeah.
That they currently use to describe him. I mean, to describe people, today. He was called those things. People wanted to hurt him. People wanted to kill him.
Yeah, and that is interesting. You are correct. He was called a communist in these names that they are now calling Kamala. And they really call. I mean, really. Now I know that the Democrats throw around the racist word of the Republicans, and the Republicans generally throw around either you are socialist, Marxist, fascist, or communist. At most Democrats, and you're right because they called Obama the same thing they're calling Kamala. They were calling him a communist and all of that stuff as well. So, and you're right. They called Martin Luther King the same names.
That was so crazy. Go back and look at the boogeyman that they set up for Obama. All these boogeyman things that were going to happen. None of them happened.
Yeah. Well, I was told that
every gun they got. It did not happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but you got to admit the liberals are the same thing. Didn't Biden say if you voted for Mitt Romney in 2012, he was going to put y'all back in chains? I mean, the liberals do it too.
Yeah, they all do it. They build a boogeyman and run against it.
Yeah. So no chance Martin Luther King is voting for it. Martin Luther King is MAGA.
Oh my God. I tell you what, you tell whoever said that to come to the National Civil Rights Museum and just walk through there. You tell me that. By the time you get out the back end of it, you tell me that's who he voted for.
And I'll tell you something. Oddly enough, the individual that had that on their page, they're an African American.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I mean, we got stupid people too.
That was an African American. For some of you folks who watch me regularly,
just white people, we stupid too.
Yeah. And for some of you folks who watch me regularly, that was the one and only Lumberjack. His live, he has that in the background there, Martin Luther King. It's a picture of King and Martin Luther King and Trump hugging each other or something like that, and it says that MLK would vote for Trump. So,
I tell you, sometimes I wonder if they're just trying to get clickbait and trying to make money off of TikTok because they got that stuff. And I tell you, I give you an example. I was in Nashville, and there was this African American guy selling Trump shirts.
Okay.
And I'm like, dude, I just asked him, I said, you're Trump. Tell me why you want to vote for Trump. He says, I don't want to vote for Trump. These shirts just sell.
Wow. So he was grifting.
Yeah. He had these Trumps. I guess he designed them or whatever. He was, hey, they buy this stuff. Okay.
Hey, at the end of the day, I can't. Yeah. At the end of the day, I can't hate on it. If you got a good grift, shout out to you. All right, Joe, I do got to move it on, but damn. Hey, at least he was honest enough to admit it.
You're not going to ask me the Marjorie Taylor Greene question?
Do I really have to?
Look, I can explain Marjorie Taylor Greene. Let me tell you, here's what's happened to Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'll quickly tell you. She was living up there in Georgia, right?
Right.
As a little child, her mom and dad bought her some Jewish space lasers.
Oh, my
and she was
God.
playing with her. She got hurt. It caused a mental defect.
Oh, my God. Yeah, she is the one known for talking about Jewish space lasers as well. But think about it, she's very well respected in Republican circles. She's likely to be a congresswoman for quite a while.
You ever listen to Jeff Jackson, the congressman from North Carolina, the Republican congressman?
What?
He actually said that they call them outrage politicians. He said when you see them on camera, they're crazy. But in the meetings, they're actually logical and have right ideas. But they don't have them. But when they get out in front of the camera, they go crazy to get clicks and to get people to like them.